G'day guys, and a special g'day to Tanishq, who has put in a comment and some questions into our online free coaching blog, so we really thank you for that. And just in response to some of your questions, man, it will really be good if we can get a video from you up onto YouTube and post us the link, because it is a little bit difficult to sort of understand the problems and faults just by through text. So a video would be great if you've got the time only though. So just to answer your questions, I myself like to keep things as simple as possible, and so in my grip what I do is I just have two V's going straight down the back of the bat. So just going straight down the back, nice and simple, very easy. And I've also got my grip in the neutral position, so a little bit towards the bottom but very sort of neutral, getting the best of both worlds there, sort of thing. To explain this concept of cocking your wrists, what I'll do is I'll show you, and all it is this is sort of my stance here. If I was to cock my wrists in my stance, all it is just opening the face so that it now sort of points out to maybe backward point into the gully region. So all I've done with my wrists, I'll show you just up here, is just rotating them open. So what it does is it puts them into this sort of flexed position. Now what the theory behind that really, man, is that, you know, if you throw a cricket ball, you can practice throwing a cricket ball with just your wrist. This is what bowlers do quite a bit of. They don't use their arm, they practice just using their wrist, because there's actually quite a bit of strength in your wrists. And so by cocking your wrists, what you're doing is now you're not only using your arms and your shoulders, you're using your wrists as well, so they give you a bit of added power. So that's the benefit of it, is that added power, being able to hit the ball a little bit further. But there are some downsides to it as well. And what that is that obviously because you've now cocked your wrist, see the bat face is no longer nice and flat. So what that means is that there will be some rotation as you come to hit the ball. So it goes from open to being straight like that. So effectively you're rotating it like this. Now all that means is that, you know, if your timing's not perfect, which it isn't always, of course, then you've got this really good chance of sort of not quite hitting the bat perfectly. So I actually like to keep it sometimes sort of in between, so that I just don't have to rotate the bat face too much, because then you can sort of getting a bit tricky, because as you come down the ball, the bat goes sort of from this position to that position, so you get a bit of rotation there. So it's not ideal in that sense, but it does give you that more power and lets you use your wrists. But if you're going to take anything away from any of this, what you must remember is that, you know, I'm sure you've had quite a few coaches, and if not, as you go up through the ranks, you will have more. And it's really important that you don't let every single coach that you come into contact with change you. You don't want every coach that you come into contact with to change your technique or to make you into who they want to be. What you've got to be able to do is to be able to go through each coach and listen to them and say, oh yes, that's very nice, yep, I agree with that. And if they say something you don't agree with, just accept it, say, yep, no, that's good advice, thank you, and then don't use it. You know, you don't have to. If you try using advice from every single coach, you're going to get into big trouble, because you're going to be trying all this stuff and then suddenly you're not yourself. You're not doing what made you good in the first place. So that's very, very important. So even with the things that I'm telling you, you know, if cocking your wrists feels a bit uncomfortable, don't do it. If what you're doing is already working, don't try to fix it. So that's what I would suggest to you. And we thank you very much for your questions. And just chuck a video up, and to anyone else who's got questions, feel free to post them up and we'll answer them for you. Cheers guys.